Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As most of you already know, I recently completed my MPhil from the University of Delhi Department of English. And given my very limited expertise in the or experience in the domain of doing research, many of my juniors and some of my classmates as well have often asked me a question, which is how exactly do you go about finding a research idea or a research topic, or what exactly is the difference between finding a topic or an area of interest for a research article and for a lengthier research like an MPhil or a PhD. Now, I remember once I had answered this question to a junior of mine over WhatsApp, and today I thought this is the right time because now is the season for admissions to PhDs and MPhils in some universities. So I thought that now is the right time to talk about this. How exactly do you go about finding a research area or a research topic? What exactly should you do in order to locate your topic? How to distinguish between a topic for a paper and a topic for a thesis? And so on and so forth. So this video is all about that. So let's begin. First up, let me mention that I have not been admitted to PhD anywhere as of yet. So I would restrict myself to advice on research in general, not specifically advising you on how to get a PhD because I have not managed that myself as of yet. But I hope I will in the near future, and I have some plans to pursue it. But let's answer the first question or the elephant in the room at the onset. How do you go about finding a research topic or an area of interest? Well, if you're doing it for a longer period of time, 2 years if you're doing an MPhil and 3 to 5 years if you're doing a PhD, then I would advise you to find a topic which you find interesting and engaging. This is the first criteria in my opinion, because you have to spend a significant amount of time with that topic and in and around that topic. You have to spend years, quite literally, finding out more about one single topic or one single text or one single author or so on and so forth. If you don't do this, then very quickly you will get bored, then irritated, then annoyed, then enraged by that topic if you don't find it interesting and engaging enough. So after doing that, you have to find something which in research we call as a research gap, where sufficient amount of research has not been done on any particular angle of any particular text, or any particular text has not been looked through a particular lens. And once you find this research gap, it would be your job to do a literature review, on which I have already spoken a great deal in my video on how to write a dissertation proposal, which is an older video of mine which I had uploaded in this channel in the earlier days, the link to which will be up here somewhere. Go and check that one out. Though it's a pretty lengthy video of almost an hour, but I think it would do you a great deal of good if you go and watch that one. Right. So literature review has already been covered in that, so I'm not going to repeat what I have already said. But after that, once you find your potential topic, you have to then realize what the scope of that topic is. Can you write a 25,000 word dissertation on that topic? If yes, then it is a MPhil topic. If you can write more than that, close to 80,000, 1 lakh words, then it is a possible PhD topic. Now, of course, since we are all beginners, or almost no one does a PhD for a second time. There are exceptions, I know that, but in general, people do PhD only once. So, since all of us are beginners when it comes to a PhD, it's not always the case that we have the best judgment of our own works, which is why it's always advisable to have a peer group of friends, colleagues, seniors, and sometimes juniors as well, who would tell you whether your idea is sound or not. Preferably, you should also include some of your professors or teachers in this group with whom you can share your idea quite freely. Now, here is a small catch. Since Indian academia is so competitive, the idea of plagiarizing your idea is pretty common. You share your idea with someone, and before you could materialize it, they materialize it themselves because they are slightly more experienced than you, slightly older than you, or slightly more knowledgeable than you. This has happened to many of my friends and juniors and seniors, and it has been known to happen quite frequently in Indian academy as well, because people often don't care to come up with their own ideas. They just copy ideas which they have heard from their friends, they just twist it a little here and there, and then they present it as their own. And once you present it or once you publish it, the other person whose original idea it was, if they want to publish it or work on it, then their work is considered as plagiarism, which is a really messed up thing if you think about it really carefully. So only share your ideas with those people whom you have complete faith in, whom you are sure about, who would not steal your idea and then run away with it, right? So you have to use your own discretion in this context. After you have had your share of feedback from your peer group, then you can go ahead and contact a potential supervisor in a potential university, about which again I have already talked about in my video called Everything About PhD, the link to which will be up here somewhere. You can go and check that one out as well. Of course, this step is not compulsory. You can also not talk to anyone and still get inside. I know a few of them who have done so. In fact, when I got admitted to the MPhil program at the University of Delhi, I did not know anyone there. So, but I still managed to get through. So it's not a compulsory step at all, but it's a preferred step nonetheless. So that's the basic idea of how you can go about doing your research. Now, let me answer some common questions about research which people ask. First question is a PhD very tough? Well, for starters, I don't know. I have not done a PhD myself, but I have done an MPhil. So, and it was not very tough in my opinion, and a PhD would be a little tougher than that, I know that, but in my opinion it's not a very tough thing if you want to stay in academia. Nowadays it's becoming more and more important that you get a PhD. PhDs are becoming compulsory from 2023 for recruitments at the university level. At the college level they are also going to become compulsory in the near future or far future, but at some point of time they will become compulsory if you want to teach at institutes of higher education. So it's a compulsory thing. Some people consider it a necessary evil, but there is a small catch here. The catch is that if someone is a good scholar, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are a good teacher, and vice versa. But of course there are people who belong to both these categories. However, the problem with Indian academia is they consider a degree of PhD to be the same as someone who can teach well. This is a different debate or a discussion which we can have separately over another video. If you want me to do that video, please let me know down in the comments so that I can make that in the upcoming days. But the next question which I would like to answer is that, can I reuse my published papers in my MPhil or PhD? This question I had, and many of my friends, juniors and seniors also have. Can we use our published papers in our MPhil or PhD or not? Well, it depends on your university. For example, our university, the University of Delhi, has a similarity detection certificate or a declaration where the supervisor of the scholar certifies that these are written by my scholar only. They have been published elsewhere, but he has or she has or they have included this in their thesis as well. I would put up that form on your screen right now. As you can see on your screen, there are mentions of chapters or book articles or in general articles which you have written, which you have included in your thesis as a part of it. So if your university allows this, then you can consider it. But you have to ask yourself one simple question: is my university going to allow this or not? The best step in this case would be to ask your supervisor that, is it okay if I use my published works in my dissertation as well? Of course, it would vary from university to university. The amount of work which the university allows you to reproduce in your thesis or dissertation is different, varying from MPhil to PhD and from state university to central university and so on and so forth. All of this is very important for you to know, because the quality of your dissertation would determine the quality of your PhD, and of course it would also determine the way you perform in your viva voce. But of course, if you are enrolled in a PhD somewhere or an MPhil for that matter, you are required to make at least one presentation for an MPhil and 2 to 3 presentations for a PhD on or around the topic on which you have made your dissertation. For example, my dissertation was on translation studies and I had to present a paper on that at Panchla Mahavidyalaya a few months ago. Of course, in many universities, you are also required to have publications on and around the topic on which you have submitted your PhD, like the Central University of Hyderabad, University of Delhi, or Jawaharlal Nehru University for that matter, and many more. Of course, your supervisor would tell you all about this, and your Research Advisory Committee, or RAC as we commonly call it, all of them would tell you what you need to do as and how you go along. But choosing a research topic is the most important thing when it comes to your MPhil or PhD thesis. Even in some cases, I am now hearing that students are required to do MA dissertations or bachelor level dissertations for that matter. St. Xavier's College, for example, even back in the day when our classmates were studying in St. Xavier's, they had college level dissertations, and even our university, Jadavpur, has a master degree level dissertation which was optional for the students. At all these levels, depending on which category you belong to, the process is the same, but the end result would be different in each and every case of these. So if you have any more questions about your research proposal or would like to ask more questions or suggest a video which I could do in the future, please don't hesitate to let me know down in the comments. Of course, if you have any comments, suggestions, or any general queries, you can also let me know. And don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. I will see everyone in the next video. Till then, hasta la vista.